Well, hello, you lovely people, and welcome back to Sunday Stitching. So today, as you can see, I'm working on Rachel's Journal of Stitchery, and we are on a new prompt, and the new prompt is greenhouse or garden shed. Now, I'm going to opt for a greenhouse. I think that's going to give me more playing with what I'd like to do. So I've got my Frixion pen and I need to obviously draw a greenhouse. So I'm thinking that I'm going to start with my ruler. I need to get my page square so that I can work out what I want to do. And I think I want it to be face on. So is that going to be too big? I think that might be too big. Okay, so we are literally going to have to use our ruler. So I'm going to start with, because I'm going to cheat and use my board to give me a measuring zone. So I come across then to that line there and come up there like so. We can straighten it up again using a board. Doesn't matter really that I'm obviously going off because this is all going to iron out. So that's going to be my main entrance. I'm going to put a small, actually no, I'm going to put a big door in the middle like that. So I've got small panes at the side. So I'm going to go to about there. I'm going to do it like that. And then I'm going to come about halfway in, which is about there. Oh, that's not quite halfway, is it, Claire? That was a bit rubbish, but we could give it a double like that. So that's gonna be my doors. So as you can see, I'm planning for this to be like a really tall, large Victorian scenario. So let's measure this and work out exactly how big this is. So that is 1.5 inches. So I want to go 3/4 of an inch to find my pitch point of my roof. So that will be my centre point. So let's line this back up because this has moved. Sorry, this is all like architectural drawing at the moment, isn't it? But we will get there. Okay, and then if I do a line from that corner point right up past that point, and from this one also where it crosses, that will be my pitch. Okay, and then I'm going to choose an angle. I'm just choosing that angle for no particular reason other than it feels right, and then keeping my ruler level, I'm going to come down to there and come across there. Okay, and again keeping my roof, not my roof, my ruler level, I'm going to come up to give me the top of that pitched roof. Okay, that's a really tall glass greenhouse, and then I'm going to do straight lines, 1, whoops, 2, okay, and then if we find the angle there again of that roof pitch, slide across, and then that will give us the angle of those glass panes on our roof. I don't know how much of that end we're going to see, but just bring it across there. And then we're going to need a cross member, and the obvious cross member is going to be where the top of the door is. So if again I just mark the top of the door, take my ruler at the correct angle and bring that across there. That now looks too sort of smooth, too sort of square for me. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a halfway mark. So come up, that's better. We want much more sort of Victorian rectangles than squares. Okay, and we'll get another one. How wide are they? About there. As I say, I don't think we're going to see this, but we'll draw it in just in case. Okay, there's our greenhouse, and that obviously comes across there. That'll be a connection point, and then we'll do halfway between each door, I think. So we'll come up there and up there. So there is, and I think we're going to do a cross member about there as well, like that. And then obviously we will follow our line and just bring those ones across our roof. Like so. So there's my greenhouse. Now, because it's a Victorian one, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a really sort of pretty detailed ridge. So and go like that. Oops, I've dragged my fabric. See if we can't find, and then that'll be straight up like that. See if we can't get a really decorative lace or something along there. So there's my greenhouse. What I need to think about now is what I'm going to do inside. If I'm going to stitch plants, or if I'm going to try and use... I'm going to put you on pause and shut the window. Right, sorry, it's a warmish day, so there's lots of people out and there's lots of noise in the street. Now, I did think that I could potentially cheat, and I could lay that fabric right round on, say, that level, get the roses up the right way, and stitch over it, because there's quite a lot of digging out if I'm going to cut them. Or I've got this one, which is much more sort of green. So what I think I'm going to do is I've got my roof lines to show me where my side lines are. And I think I'm going to do my greenhouse in, as it were, patches. So I'm going to say that, where's my pen gone? I'm going to say that these two, this one and this one, they are going to be this winding green plant. And then what other florally fabrics have I got? And the thing is, it's that the floral is small enough. No, I think it's probably really only the rose, which is why I pulled those two fabrics out. And then these three, I'll do the roses. Okay. And then I might stitch up there. So let's get our scissors and see how this might work. So if we tear a piece of this fabric out, whoops, nearly poked my eye out. That's not very clever, is it? Okay, so that is not going to be a big piece of fabric at all, is it? So it's going to be that wide, like so, and it can sit across those two there, but I need to choose the right bit of picture, if you know what I mean. So yeah, we want that there like that. So if I put that down and I take my pen and my ruler, I can actually work out that that piece there, keep my ruler level to maybe there, so I go over a little bit. That's going to be the back end of my greenhouse. Okay, so I'll trim this across there, and where's my other line? There. And this will sit there like that. I need some pins, don't I? What have I done with my pins? Here they are. That is going to be in those two ends of my greenhouse, and then we want this piece to be that wide. Oh, okay, I think I've ended up tearing that much too wide. I want a nice busy piece, as it were. So I think what I want is that piece there. So I'm going to tear it there. She says, oh, this is really quite hard to tear, this piece of fabric, for some reason. Right. So we've got this piece, and it's going to go there like that. So we'll put our lines back in so we know. we'll take that little tiny corner off. Get rid of that little tiny corner. So that is going to go there. Like so. Where's my line? Doesn't really matter actually, as long as it's at the right angle. But now I'm just looking at this and I'm thinking it might actually be nice to cut round that rose. So let's have a little look at my scissors and see if we can fussy cut into that. So I'm going to cut up here. Like that. I'm going to cut down here. These scissors are a nightmare lately. They've always been my best scissors, and yet suddenly they're a bit of a nightmare. And then if we sort of... No, I need better scissors. I need better scissors. What about these little pink ones? These might work. Yeah, they're better. And then we just sort of fussy cut round this. Not much stitching going on at the moment, is there? I'm really sorry, guys. But this is like the plotting process. So I hope you're not all completely bored and wondering why I didn't have this all prepped before I came on camera. Right. So then you see that will sit there like that. And that'll be my two side areas of what's going on inside the greenhouse. That's my idea anyway. And I'm going to stitch all this in this champagne colour, so it's like sort of dirty Victorian wood, as it were, where they was all tended to be either sort of a sagey colour or whites. So then we need to think, I'm just thinking these are now possibly the wrong proportion for my doors. So I think I'm going to add another line across there and bring my doors up to this point. Like that. So we've got bigger doors. That'll make sense when it's all stitched. Okay, and then of course the floor, choose this correct angle again, bring this all the way down to there, because that is where our floor line will be inside. Yeah, so then we can put some bits there as well. So maybe I might put a little bit more of the green there, but that of course will be on that angle again, so it's going to sit like that, and then it's going to cut off there like so. So we're going to trim that off, she says. Where's my dots? There and there. So then that is what is going on up that side of our conservatory. Yeah. So that'll be like that. That'll be like that. This is going to be our floor. So I think it would be obvious to then bring our pathway through there. So that'll be my pathway. And then, because of our crazy quilting, I think I will go across there and across on that line. Okay, but then we'll bring it there to there, and then I'll go from there to there, and then that one will go like that, and the top one, this probably doesn't make any sense to you, does it? I'm sorry. And then that one will go there like that. Okay, so now we can see exactly what's going where. So we're actually only going to have pathway here. This is the only pathway that we'll have, because that bit is going to be on our different fabric, and then we can put some trees up here round the greenhouse. Yeah. And then we've got, this is sky, isn't it? So we can work out what's going to happen in the skyline there. And then I need to find some lace. I know I've got some white diamond edge type lace somewhere. This one. I'm thinking this would be a beautiful ridge detail. So we can put our lace up there for our ridge detail. Okay, so then that, if it's going straight, would go up there like that. Just line that back up, because that needs to go straight as well. So that'll go straight like that. There we go. So let me repin that, because that's now moved. Needs to sit on there like that. So there's our ridge detail. we've got stuff going on here. So I am going to tack this with some white cotton, these 3 pieces, and the ridge, and then you can get an idea of how I'm going to stitch my lines for my actual greenhouse. So first things first, we do some invisible stitching. So just pull that up from the back down almost on top of itself, as you know, because we want it to be invisible. Although I've got to be honest and say, years ago when I was taught to sew at school, this was called a tacking stitch. Tack it all in place. So times they change, I suppose. Pop this back down, back up. So I'm doing big stitches on the back, tiny stitches on the front. Okay, back down, flip it round, get one in there. And obviously I'm trying not to come up through the green areas, because the white on the green would make it a lot less invisible than we would like it to be. So I'm sorry, I charged straight in, didn't I? Is everybody happy, safe and well? Somebody did comment on last week's video about my needle case, and if I would do a video showing how I made it. Happy to do that. I'll do that next Sunday. So if anybody wants to see how my needle book or case came together, then you need to tune in next Sunday, because I'll be doing that then. We'll make one together and it will fit in time with my birthday giveaway. So there you go. That's what we'll do with that. So I'm just gonna, whoops, thread this needle up. I've been to Denise's again this weekend, the wonderful Denise, who's got like an entire shop in her house. She used to have a shop and she had to give it up due to ill health, and she's still got a lot of stock there, and I swear that every time I go I see something that I've not seen before. And this week, sweetie that she is, when I turned up to see her, she'd put me a bag of odds and ends together to do, you know, slow stitching with. Beautiful bits and pieces. In fact, let me show you. Look at this. Sorry about the glare from the bag. There's wool and buttons, lace, old vintage lace, black lace, fabrics, all sorts of yumminess in there. She crochets these. And I said it's very naughty of her, because she's got them in her shop, which means technically she's giving away stock. She's got them in her Etsy shop, so she's giving away stock, so it's very naughty. But anyway, I'm very grateful. Thank you very much, Denise. It's awesome. Can't wait to open a black and white project now. I did have a few bits of black and white of my own, and I've got some grey, so I have to think about what I'm going to do with that. Black, grey, feels a bit wintry, doesn't it? Although officially we're not out of winter until March, so I've still got a couple of weeks of winter. Or could think about maybe something gothic that's black, isn't it? Don't know. I'm going to have a think about, whoops, what to do with that. I mean, obviously you don't need to think, you can just start stitching, but I wanted to do it justice and do something lovely with it, so we'll see. Okay, do one there, one there. Don't know if my regular ladies have noticed, we're on a new camera angle. I've got my new stand now, and it's awesome. I love it. I'm so pleased. Although I've got to be honest and say, setting it up was not without its frustrations. Oh my goodness. I had to actually call hubby down in the end and say, excuse me, I need help. Tell me that I am not going mental, because it didn't matter how I set it up, my camera was on long and slim, and I was like, no, that's not what we want. Anyway, eventually after about an hour, because it stumped him as well at first, eventually about an hour we got it sorted, so that was good. Right, so we've pulled that through, and let's just finish off this invisible stitch on this one. You need to make sure you keep on your lines, Claire, otherwise all that planning would have been completely pointless. See, talking to myself now. Okay, it's because I pulled it too far, see? Oops. So I don't know how many of you saw my Instagram where I put my hashtag Sew My Heart. It's a fantastic little project. I really enjoyed doing it. It was something a little bit different yesterday. If you haven't seen it, then it's over on my Instagram. But being a hashtag, they are everywhere. So if you just hashtag Sew My Heart on YouTube, you'll find it. Right, let's close this off. I'm just doing a stitch under the fabric that I've done so that I know, you know, the stitch is not going to come through to the front. Okay, let's get rid of that. I've got my ridge piece there, but I'm not going to worry too much. I will come and stitch that on later on. So just poke it on there. Right, so we're finished with a thin thread. We need to get a nice embroidery needle, and that one has already got this colour that I want to use in it. So I'm thinking we might as well use that needle. Okay, so let's get ourselves a knot and let's start. So I'm going to start in this corner here, like that. Okay, and I'm just going to do, what am I going to do? I want it quite thick. I think I'm going to do a double running stitch. So what I'm going to do is go in and out at hopefully about the same distance, but if we're going to double back on ourselves, it's not really going to matter. And then that is obviously this line here, and that's the corner point of that roof. So I think I told you that I recently went back and to the very beginning and watched what I hadn't realised was 18 years worth of seasons of Doc Martin. Now, I feel quite safe saying this because although it was a UK programme, I'm told that it's actually been shown and actually even reproduced by some people worldwide. So I'm sure that if it's something that would have interested you, you would have found it. Well, we finally just finished it yesterday. It's been quite some time watching it. We thoroughly enjoyed it. So now, of course, we're stuck. We've got to find something else to watch. Although, to be honest, to say something else to watch is a bit of an untruth because I'm always watching telly in the background. And if he's honest, so is hubby, because he's generally on his pad or whatever. So, yeah, how much telly do we really watch? But anyway. Okay. Oops. And now you can see where I'm stitching on top of this fabric, not for quilting purposes, not for a canvas stitch, but to show the implication, the implied view that the flowers are actually behind the glass panel. That's the whole idea. And then I come back up in that corner where I started. Okay, go along to there, and then I'm gonna turn and come up that line like that. You see that? Okay, so then I'm gonna carry on up again, trying to make sure I'm going to come out where that line is. Okay, and then before I turn round and come back down, I'm going to go across to get that line there, and then come back on an angle to come through there like that. Okay, and then fill up, as it were, that hole, and then come down there to that one. And I'm sure, any experienced embroiderer would be pulling their hair out at the fact that that's not how you should do it. But, do you know what? I'm sewing with abandoned glee. I'm loving what I'm doing. And hey-ho, does it really matter if it's not how a professional would do it? To me, certainly not. All that matters is that I've enjoyed the process, and I am enjoying the process. In fact, I'm enjoying it so much, I'm happy to share it with you guys. So, I carry on like this and build up my greenhouse in front of the plants, because obviously the plants are inside, which means they're behind. Okay, so I need to go back. I haven't filled in this corner frame. Just checking I didn't have a knot or something at the back there. And go into this corner frame, and now I'm going to follow my floor. So I'm going to come back up there in the corner again. There's a lot going on in this corner. And then come across this line here. So meet that row of stitches and then come up and then go down and then come up and then go down and come up and go down and come up. Okay, so that is now my floor line. Whoops. I'm going to put another stitch in there to hold that secure, as it were. That's it, because I don't want a running stitch anymore. And now I'm going to go up here and I'm going to do the end of this front face of the building. There we go. And we can go right up to that roof ridge. Like so. And then I'll just obviously turn around and come back down again. So coming back through at the base of that stitch, there. And I'm not worried that these stitches may be slightly out of line, because at the end of the day what I am stitching here is a Victorian hand-built wooden framed greenhouse. In fact, it probably would have been an orangery back then, but anyway. Oh, I pulled my needle off. Consequently, this is over 100 years old, which means that wood has been battered and repainted, well, goodness knows how many times. So it's never going to be square and perfect like the day it was built. So I'm not worried about that. Not worried about that at all. And you know, when you're doing things like this, give yourself a break. Think about how they would be in life. And I defy anybody to find me a perfectly square Victorian glasshouse. You can find me one. I'll unpick it and I'll make sure it's square, but I don't think you can. It's another thing, you know, you need to think about, like, nature. Nature is so forgiving because leaves are different sizes, they're different shapes. You cannot stitch nature wrong, in my opinion, because every leaf is different. And so that really gives you a helping hand. Right, so then we go into the corner and that's finished that row there. So you can see how this is starting already to come together. So we've got our greenhouse front, we've got all our panes laid out, we've got our ridge, and we've got our plants. So I think I've kept you for long enough, nearly an hour. I hope you found some joy and inspiration. Come back and see me again soon. Bye bye for now.